Happy Sunday once again. Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. Let's talk a little baseball this afternoon. Tennessee completes the weekend victory, the weekend series win over Kentucky today, and wouldn't classify this one as a pitching duel today. 13-11 Tennessee. It was one where Tennessee was up 2-0, and this thing just went back and forth. Kentucky then went up 6-2. Tennessee came back and took the lead. Kentucky took the lead back. Tennessee took it back and didn't look back. But man, it was interesting down to the end. There's quite a bit to talk about today in this one, but great victory for Tennessee. You're beating the number one team in the SEC in the standings. Took 2 out of 3, and I think you could realistically look at that one if you're Tennessee and say we should have swept that series. There were opportunities they did not take advantage of Friday night, and they got a little payback today. As far as Friday night, you had Tennessee walked the 9-hitter, got to the top of the order, and that's where Kentucky made them pay with that as well. Come back around today. I think the score is 0-0. Cal Stark walked Christian Moore. Good God, Christian Moore. And we'll talk more about him today. Hit his first of 3 home runs. What a weekend this guy had. Got to think there's a pretty good possibility he's once again going to be SEC Player of the Week. I'll go on about him a little bit more as we go. But just it come back around today. But, if you're a pitching guru, you were probably cringing today quite a bit. But look at my talking points today. Just a huge win. They're 3 games back in the conference. I'm looking at schedules as I think Tennessee's schedule is a lot more favorable than Kentucky's. Now, Tennessee's not the only team that's in contention that they could win the Southeastern Conference. Now, make no mistakes about that. So if we look at the SEC standings, here's what I know as I look that up right now. Tennessee next weekend has Missouri at home, and I'll talk a bit more about their week ahead. Kentucky is at South Carolina. All right. Right now, actually, Tennessee is in second. In the East, overall, Arkansas 14-4, A&M 13-5. So those, if you go overall, Kentucky still best record in Arkansas, A&M, Tennessee right with them within 3. They've got as Kentucky's 15-3 now. Tennessee will be 12-6 in conference. So again, you could make a case that Tennessee should have swept this series, but also I said coming into the weekend, if you go up there and win 2 out of 3 on the road in the SEC against a top 5 team, you take it. And you take it, especially when your pitching was as bad as it was today, all the way around. Let's get into more about the game. And let me pull up the old share it here a little bit. We're going to look at the stats, first of all. And, I'm going to key in on one dude, first and foremost, the guy that carried this team, the guy who set the tone. Christian Moore, 4 for 5, 6 RBIs, 3 home runs today, 4 runs scored, 1 double as well. 376 his average is up to. It went up over 15 points or close to 15 points this weekend. The weekend that he had was just phenomenal. And it's why I was so adamant earlier in the season when I saw other people saying, well, you want Christian Moore hitting third. You want him hitting with guys up. You want Christian Moore hitting leadoff because he's your best hitter on the team. He and Blake Burke, 1 and 2. If either one of those guys let off, I would not have a problem with it. Me, the way the lineup is set up, I like Christian Moore leading off, and it's because I like Billy Amick in that 3-hole where he's at. There was a part of me like Amick leading off, but Moore is more of that. Amick's not a stolen base threat. Moore can, even though they don't steal a whole lot. But you got to think, you lead off one time a game. Yesterday, Moore leads it off with a home run. Blake Burke comes behind him, home run. They set the tone yesterday. You want your best hitters getting the most at bats. This is not the 80s and 90s where you want a speedster leading off who rarely ever hits a home run. Your Ricky Hendersons and Tim Raines, they were the exceptions rather than the norms back then. I want a guy. That's why I love the Ronald Acuna leading off when the Yankees did it with Aaron Judge, the Dodgers doing it with Mookie Betts. That's just a few of the examples I have. I know there's more of them around Major League Baseball as well. But I love Christian Moore leading off. I want my main guys getting the most at bats. And 3 times today, it paid off when Christian Moore, it came back around. Guys at the bottom did their job getting on base. Christian Moore made Kentucky pay for challenging him, which you challenge him once, so be it. You challenge him twice, you're getting a little crazy. You challenge him the 3rd time late, that's insanity. And the fact that they challenged him after the weekend that he had was really stupid on Kentucky. So I don't know if they just missed on their pitch or if that's what they called, but it was, if I'm a Kentucky fan, I would have been livid over that. But I'm a Tennessee fan. I wasn't real happy with Tennessee and the way they were hanging pitches today either. But fortunately, Kentucky hung a little bit more than Tennessee did. As we look at these stats here, Moore, Burke, 2 for 5, extends his school record hitting streak. I got that straightened out. Thank you to some of you guys that commented. 30 games now. 30 games, all-time school record. Pretty impressive for him. Amick, 1 for 5. Tears, 1 for 4. Tears had a big 2-run home run later in the game. Dreiling, 1 for 4, had a big RBI base hit. Curley, 2 for 4. And then there was some interesting, I thought it was interesting how Tony Vitello went as Antigua come in to play short at the end. Hunter Inslee was 0 for 2. See, he got out and he hit into a double play. Come up with the bases loaded, and Tony Vitello pulled him for Cannon Peebles. And hats off to Cannon Peebles coming in that situation. Hit a deep fly ball. That wind almost pushed out a grand slam for him. Got the run in. He did his job, and then later on he walked. Chapman 0 for 4. Not a good day for him at the plate as he K'd and he hit into a double play when it's 7-6, and they had runners on 1st and 3rd. Cal Stark did his job at the plate. He walked. He got hit by a pitch. I was really kind of surprised that they pulled him. And it was interesting they went with Peebles instead of, say, Dalton Bargo in that situation, because what they ended up doing was pulling Stark and putting Bargo in his place later on. So I thought it was really interesting there that they went with that. And then later on, Bargo batted twice, and then they put Colby Backus in center field the last 2 innings. Was that for defensive purposes, or could Backus come back in later on? I think it bears watching down the stretch here. But pretty good weekend for the Bats. Pretty good day as they step, especially Christian Moore. Christian Moore is playing at an elite level offensively. And what more can you say? This top 2 of Tennessee, I could probably go deeper. I'll put Tennessee's top 2 up against any top 2 in the nation. I'll put their top 5. I would even go, I'll put their top 6 against any top 6 in all of college baseball. Bar none, hands down. Best lineup in college baseball. They're still figuring out those bottom 3. Guys are hit and miss in it. Inslee had a home run Friday night. Stark does some deep. Stark's in because he's out hit Cannon Peebles. It's not because they gave Peebles opportunities, didn't take advantage of it. Chapman had gotten in hitting. I'm curious to see. Chapman didn't have a good weekend when given opportunity. Chapman's hitting more midweek than he's hitting on weekend. So we'll see where they go with that moving forward. Now we get to the pitching. Woo! Pitching was a little interesting today, at the least. So let's pull it back up here again. Xander Sechrist, 3 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned, 3 Ks. He was all right for the first few innings. Got to that 4th inning, though. Didn't happen. Banky come in, 1/3 of an inning, 2 runs, 2 earned. Not a good day for him. Snead come in. Snead was only, it's why baseball's a cruel game. Snead was only charged with 1 earned run. Snead essentially gave up 4 runs in my book on it. But Snead did not have a good weekend, and I just don't. That Kentucky team's a good hitting team. It's a good baseball team. I did not like how Tennessee challenged them at times, and Kentucky made them pay. It's the same as Kentucky challenged Tennessee, and Tennessee made them pay on it. Snead went an inning. He did not have it. at all this weekend. And we'll just have to hope he bounces back next weekend. You just can't groove it. You can't groove pitches. That's all he was doing this weekend, was grooving it. And you face a good baseball team like Kentucky, they're going to make you pay. Kirby Cannell, 4 1/3, went way too long. He went way too long, and it got dicey at the end. 6 hits, 5 earned runs. He had 3 Ks. He gave up 4 home runs today. His ERA is 5.62. I get it. I don't know which was worse today, and I might be overreacting, the bullpen or the management of the bullpen. And two, I don't know, again, how you manage that, I guess, when nobody's getting the job done. But at some point, they went to Marcus Phillips. He come in, got that out to end it. He got ahead on the batter to, I think it was Burks, the catcher, and then got that fly out to end the game. They're going to, I don't know what the answer is. You've got to, it was a big plus what Aaron Combs did yesterday, his last couple of outings. You know, a big key down the stretch is going to be, what is A.J. Russell's status? That's going to be huge for this team. How does he factor in, if he does at all? I think we'll see him back, and it possibly could be bullpen. If he's good for a couple innings out of the bullpen, that could make a big difference on it. But, you know, Tennessee does have some pitching issues. I've stated it numerous times. They rank about 15th or so in the nation as far as pitching overall. It's a dicey bullpen, though. I would like to see some guys like Phillips, Loy, Dallas get a little bit of an opportunity, a little bit more. And, of course, they're pitching them during the week. And I just don't think that trust is there. And, you know, the biggest way to earn that trust is to throw strikes. I was glad to see Phillips get that opportunity. I think he has to factor in down the stretch, because I think too many guys are inconsistent. I'm a Snead. I like Nate Snead back there. I don't like them bringing him in trying to get 5 innings or so. It's worked. It's worked a lot. But, you know, again, he did not have a good weekend. It was not his best weekend for sure. But you know what? The bottom line and what matters is Tennessee won the series. They won the weekend. They won the game today in a slugfest when your pitching staff was not good at all. But you made things happen. You got out of Knoxville North with that series win. Pretty good year for Tennessee and Lexington. Football, basketball, and baseball. If I'm a Kentucky fan, man, I'd hate to see Tennessee come rolling in. I'd rather play them on the road. They beat Tennessee in basketball in Knoxville. But Tennessee owned Lexington. Tennessee can plant their flag in Lexington this year as they owned it. They can take ownership of it. The week ahead for Tennessee, it's a little shorter turnaround. So Tuesday's the norm. They're going to play Western Carolina on Tuesday, but a little quicker turnaround Thursday through Saturday against Missouri. 7:30 on Thursday, Friday 6:30, Saturday noon time. So it's not your regular Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 of the 4 remaining series are Thursday through Saturday for Tennessee. And then, of course, they'll have their Tuesday games as well. Florida is Thursday through Saturday. Vanderbilt's only Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And South Carolina, the final one, is Thursday through Saturday. So, you know, a lot of fun baseball left. That's a good opportunity Tennessee needs to take advantage of next weekend with Missouri coming to town. You need to get a sweep in that series because, you know, the SEC is not the be-all, end-all. The be-all, end-all right now is getting your national seeding, hosting regionals, and setting yourself up to host a super regional as well. That's what Tennessee wants. That's the grand scheme. And setting yourself up for a good national seed once you get to Omaha as well. But I'm going to wrap up on that one. Again, good victory for Tennessee. I'll bring you any more information if it breaks involving either basketball, men's basketball, or Lady Vols basketball. I'm thinking there could potentially be some Lady Vols news tonight, as they had Alyssa Latham committed late last night, made the video on that this morning. Haven't heard anything on the men's front today. I'll keep you updated on that as well. But my name's Frank Rock. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And last, but almost certainly not least, go Vols.